about ready.
You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Our latest Things That Makes Official. Welcome to the big show. As always, for 16 years and over 2,300 episodes, we bring you the Chris Voss Show. And just the most amazing gauntlet of authors, writers, people sharing their stories, their lessons of life, their journeys, all to help you live a better life. And if you're not living a better life, listen to the Chris Voss Show. Damn it, to go listen to all 2,300 episodes again. Today we have an amazing young man on the show. We're talking to Jack Russell. He has the newest book out, August 26, 2024, called Lead with Love, Lead with Love, A Journey of Discovery. And we're going to get into some of his insights, his experiences, some of the things he's going to share with you to improve the quality of your life. Jack is a proven leader, author, executive coach, mentor, organizational trainer, instructor, and entrepreneur. He is a leadership visionary who, in 1997, created a cutting-edge, self-sustaining leadership model. It was a fulfillment of a lifelong quest to discover a 21st century model to meet the universal need for holistic, multidimensional, skillful, and morally courageous leaders in real-world settings. Describing his work, people comment on Jack's visionary insights along with his integrity, trustworthiness, engagement, deep listening, and selfless heart character traits. He's a diverse coaching, teaching, and training background, ranges from the U.S. Army to early child care, secondary and higher education to business and nonprofits. He's lived in several countries. He brings a global perspective and deep research for diverse cultures to his work. Welcome to the show, Jack. How are you?
Hey, great. Good to be with you, Chris.
Good to have you as well. Give us any .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
Well, there are two places. One can be self-sustainingleadership.com. The other one would be Jack Russell Books, VT as in Vermont.com.
There you go. So give us the 30,000 overview. What's in your new book?
Chris, it's been a journey here of discovering really what motivates people to do what they do, to behave in the way they do. Mm-hmm. The other is I came up with my own leadership model, and as you said, in 1997, after decades of looking at existing models that really don't work very well. Mm-hmm. And part of it is it's about moral courage. And so I found the two began to, what is morality? What's courage? What is it that motivates people to do what they do and how they do it? Mm-hmm. And I found the two converged on this topic of really what is fear and what is love.
Now, what does Lead with Love mean in your mind, the title of your book?
Yeah, there's a lot out there about leadership. Mm-hmm. And it's usually tied in with an organization. It's usually tied in with positions of power and authority. Mm-hmm. Recently, over the past few decades, we hear such terms as authenticity, awareness. I have found that that's very limited, very two-dimensional, old school stuff, old paradigm stuff. And so it's really, leadership is about relationships. It's how we engage other people, regardless of where we are. And that it's really about an inside job. Leadership is an inside job then that radiates out. And so it comes down also, it's based on quantum mechanics. And one of the principles of quantum mechanics is entanglement, which means we're all connected. So it's in working through it, and I spent years looking at this and testing it and working it, that love, we usually think of love in a romantic, emotional way. We fall in love, we fall out of love. There are countless songs about it, plays, books, the whole thing. Or it can be a psychological or physiological urge. Those don't work very well. We've all been there, done that. Probably have the scars a few times. But when we look at love as a universal principle, a law, then it begins to change. It's a law that connects us all in the web of life. That the new sciences, the ecology of the world, it's shown that we're all connected. But our traditionally, what we're taught is we're separate from each other. That we're like pool balls, if you will, that come together, bounce off of each other, right? And occasionally we sort of stick together for a while, then we separate. That's not the way the world or the universe really operates. So I think that's where it came from.
Oh, there you go. Leading with love. And so you're not, of course, referring to romantic love in a business sense when you're trying to be a leader. How do we lead for love, with love, and I suppose some empathy is part of that as a leader in a business format? Because we can't go around hugging and kissing at the office anymore. The HR isn't feeling that's my last straw. So.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't do that.
Oh, darn.
Do not do that, folks.
That's a no-go. I started out my career as an infantry officer, and I served with the 82nd Airborne Division, and then served in Vietnam as an advisor. And all along, like in the military, when I started out, it was what I was told was take names and kick butt. And the former is optional. You got to be directive. Tell them what to do and expect them to do it. I never led that way, except in rare moments where I needed immediate obedience. We were in dangerous situations.
Yeah.
I took care of my men. My first job was to know and take care of my people. And I connected with each one of them. I knew who they were. I knew about their families. I knew as I worked with them, I got to see what motivated them. I got to know their skills. And we developed a trust relationship, deep trust. So when I was in Vietnam, I was an advisor for I remember first week there, my boss told me, he said, you're going to be out there with no other Americans. And by the way, there's no 911 if you get into trouble. That you're out on your own. And I developed a close, trusting relationship with the people.
Yeah.
To the point where they kept me safe. I had to trust. And so it was a heart-to-heart connection. Management is about the head. Management is about systems, the efficient use of resources. Leadership is about the heart. It's about connecting heart to heart. It doesn't mean we can't, In the infantry, you aren't going to go around hugging people. That just doesn't go over.
You can try, but you be busy.
It's not going to work real well. But it doesn't mean you can't connect.
Mm-hmm.
So that connection is really about the power of love. And that's that entanglement. That is, forget the romantic stuff and the hugs and that stuff. It's about connecting with the heart.
There you go. Connecting with the heart. What an important thing that they can do. And I like your thing where you talk about, understanding people, getting to know them and all that stuff. That's really important in being able to achieve what you want to take and do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it begins with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first is to know and take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a journey. Like I said, leadership is an inside job. It begins with me. And it's about self-discovery.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that is influencing my behavior? What's motivating my behavior? And I came up with 8 different vital signs. But like, for instance, what are my needs? We all have the need to be seen, heard, and valued for emotional and physical safety. How often do we really have that any place, in our workplace? We may feel seen and heard, but do we feel valued, appreciated? It's our belief system, what beliefs empower me, but what are my limiting beliefs that hold me back? I hear, I work a lot with women. And a lot of women, have shared with me that they feel like imposters. They don't feel like they're smart enough, attractive enough. They don't deserve what they have, and they feel overwhelmed. Those are limiting beliefs. So we can show, these are all skills that we can learn how to move through. And so it's self-discovery comes first. And with self-discovery, we realize that we have more choices. And that goes into, when I'm with this person, whomever it is, am I in reaction? When we are, that's fear. There's separation. But when I'm responding, that's a whole different ballgame. Then we're connecting heart to heart. And we can do it with, we can set boundaries. No means no, and yes means yes. So
that's a good one. Yep. So what we're going to do is tell us about your upbringing. What was your experience of life? It sounds like you did some things. And how did that shape you and lead you to the point you were at today?
Good question. My dad was in the U.S. Foreign Service. So I grew up mostly in developing countries. And some of those countries, we would call it terrorism was around. In those days, it was called communist insurgencies. And it was very real. And my family actually got targeted at one point for assassination. I saw extreme poverty. I saw people get machine gunned. I saw things that a young child should hopefully never see. My parents did the best they could to protect me and help me. But that made a lasting imprint. I looked at this poverty and I remember seeing young children that I knew intuitively were going to die soon. it was just at the same time, I had wonderful experiences. I met wonderful people throughout the world that were very caring and very loving and very supportive of me. I decided that I wanted to serve. Service, my parents raised me. Service to others is the rent we pay for being alive. It's service to others. And I decided that I couldn't, I didn't feel I could follow in my father's footsteps. I met some military people early on, and I decided I wanted to be a professional Army officer. And so I went through 7 years of military schooling, commissioned in the Army, infantry and airborne, and did that. So that was sort of my early life. After Vietnam, I decided, and I think this is what I experienced early on in my professional career, and that was, I'll put it, there were individuals that were, society would say were losers. But in the military, I would follow them anywhere. Wow. They were leaders, but yet society said they weren't. But in certain situations, they were pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And yet I had senior officers. I wouldn't follow across the street in broad daylight with the cops holding the traffic back and a seeing eye dog leading the way.
Wow.
And they would, I saw situations where, we were ordered into dangerous situations for the sole purpose of that senior officer getting, check marks for his promotion.
Oh,
wow. When I worked in Washington, D.C., and I got to see how Washington really works, I saw the same thing. I saw senior, very, very powerful people who are awesome. Others that were dangerous.
Yeah.
I would never trust it at all. So my question was, if you have two people with exactly the same background and the same position and so on, why does one you don't trust at all, and the other one you would follow anywhere? We've all experienced it. We've all experienced the office bully, the tyrant. We've all have, right? And we follow others that were awesome. So that was sort of that's been the journey I've been on of and I've studied all the leadership models out there and practiced some of them and just found that they weren't working very well. So that's my background.
There you go. What a shaping of a journey too, as it were. It's interesting, the things that make an impact of our life help take us on different journeys and everything else. So tell us about some of the services you offer on your website. What are the services there that you have?
Well, after I came up with my own leadership model, which is to grow our capacity and moral courage to do the right thing for the right people at the right time, I realized I needed to test it. But so I've spent 20 years doing that. And it's about skills. We're never taught, we teach the skills that we were never taught in our family. And that, how to relate with each other, how to relate with ourselves. And it's all skills driven. So on we do workshops, we do classes, we help people become coaches with the skills. I do one-on-one coaching. Our group does one-on-one coaching. We help organizations develop their how to help their people develop and come along, how to coach them, how to mentor them.
Mhm.
I've worked with senior executive teams on it. So the website really is a way to get hold of us. And there's some videos on there to begin to show some fundamental skills.
There you go. And what else have we covered that we want to promote for you and talk about whatever you're doing there?
Well, the book really, there are two parts of it here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's what is morality, what is courage, what's moral courage.
Mm-hmm.
The other is what's motivating a person. And in a meeting, a typical meeting where you have competing voices and so on, I suddenly realized that what I was watching was fear and love in action. When people had hidden agendas, when they attacked another person, and so on, that was fear. When there was true collaboration, that was love. But what was this love and what was this fear that I was looking at?
Mm-hmm.
That's the journey that I had to go on.
Oh.
And so, like, for instance, courage. I've jumped out of perfectly good aircraft in the middle of the night. I know what physical courage is, okay? I've been shot at. I know what it's about, But that's not what we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
And I came up with my own definition of courage. And it's when fear collides with love and love wins.
Ah, there you go.
I've also, with morality, I've asked people, how did you learn what's right and wrong, good and bad? Well, it was sort of a hit and miss growing up in their families and their culture.
Oh.
And so, when we, going down when you're driving and someone cuts you off, and there's that impulse, that was wrong. And there's, usually an emotional outburst that certain words, that's the type of morality that we were taught. Mm-hmm. But I also have a graduate degree in world religions and philosophy, and I looked at them all to how do you determine what's right and wrong? And they came, pretty much, it was really quite simple. The two parts. One, it's putting the collective well-being, health, productivity before my ego-centered wants.
Oh.
And then we all know the golden rule, love your neighbor as yourself, right? We all know that one. Yeah. What we were taught was, you got to love your neighbor. Mm-hmm. No one taught us how to love ourselves.
Yeah, that's true.
But the two go hand in hand. It doesn't say, love your neighbor, and then forget yourself. So I've turned it around to say, I treat myself with the same compassion, respect, dignity as I treat others. And the two work hand in hand. So that's the basis of morality and moral courage. I then developed, with help, a fear to love spectrum for motivation. And, all you have to do is look around and see, okay, so, when we think of individuals that are out for their own personal gain, that's fear talking. That's meism. I call it meism. It's all about, I may play nice, but when push comes to shove, it's about me, not you.
Oh, wow.
And the other end is heart connection and how we can connect heart to heart. So what is it that's motivating you in the moment? Is it fear or is it love? So that's what the book is, in a nutshell, is about. It's a lot of examples, real life examples, and skill building. I think some people have read it. An entrepreneur has been has many businesses and so on. Read it, and he said, this is easy to read. He said, but it's profound. It's one of these, you speak like I'm speaking with you. I'm hearing your voice. So it's not an academic book. But he said, but there's moments where it's profound, and it's elegant, it's deep. So that's in a nutshell.
There you go. So as we go out, give people a final pitch out to order up, on board with you, find out more about you, reach out to you, order the book, et cetera, et cetera.
Go to the website. They can get hold of me right there, and if they'd like, I'll be glad to even chat with them. Love to.
There you go. Give them a chat. And they can do that through the website, right?
Correct.
There you go. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it, man.
Well, thank you. It's been fun.
There you go. Thanks, John. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and all those crazy places. Internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you